Hi everyone! Today I'm going to talk about some things I've learned in art that have actually benefited and helped me in all areas of life. But before we get started, I will say that I will play a time lapse in the back. It's of this nature girl picture that I recently drawn, which I will talk more about later in the video. So with that, let's get started. So the first tip I have is that there's always going to be people more skilled than you and people less skilled than you. Now I know to some this probably isn't going to be a good thing, but to me I find it reassuring. Mainly because it means that there's always going to be people ahead of you that you can learn from, and then people behind you that you can actually help teach and help them grow too. Even though this metaphor is pushing towards life being like a race, it's more like we are all moving in the same direction. Some people just happen to be ahead and some people happen to be behind. You can always pass them or slow down, but it doesn't matter because it's not a race. I think about this whenever I'm scrolling through Instagram and I see so many different artists who have much more skill than I do. But just knowing that there's always people ahead of me or people behind helps me be okay with where I am today. Just because I know I'm going to get to that place ahead, and soon I'll be able to teach those others behind me. Or I'll be in a position where there's still going to be people ahead, and I can still learn from. I don't know how good this is going to sound to those who are extra competitive, but to those who aren't, just know that drawing and art and just life in general, it isn't a race. You can walk or run at whatever pace you want. Things take time to improve. Rome wasn't built in a day, so you can't learn how to perfectly draw in a few days or even a few months. Like, if you don't feel good about your skill level, just know that it takes time. The same goes for all fields. If you're learning a new program or in a new job, figuring out how to do it the first time takes a lot more time than your 20th or your 100th time doing it. So it's normal to be slower. It just feels like we're not doing it right because sometimes we are surrounded by people who have been working at something for years and we've only just started. Now, this illustration took me about 4 hours to finish. A few years ago, it would have taken me probably 8 or 9 hours. Who knows how long it's going to take me in the future, but I just know that it took years of practice and studying to work up to this fast pace. Also, keep in mind that this is a speed paint. I mean, I know it's obvious, but this was drawn over the course of a few days. In between, I took breaks, gathered reference materials, and stopped a bit to practice my color and values. You don't see that in the time lapse, but I think it's important to know that not all artists can sit down in a single afternoon and make a masterpiece. And if they can, it's because they've put the time and effort into making it there. The next tip that I've learned with my art is to be open to new things or techniques or ideas. For this picture, I wanted to experiment with adding photos in. So when I was out walking one day, I took a lot of pictures of leaves and wooded areas and trees, and I ended up photobatching them into this picture. Now it's something I don't normally do. I usually just draw without putting in the references in, but today I just decided to try something different and try to actually put my references in and mix the colors around and see what would happen. And to be honest, I like how it turned out. I think the added textures of the photos looked really well. Being open to new possibilities can go a long way. For me, it just helps me experiment and find new techniques in my art. For you, it may be to hang out with new people or go to new places, or just do things in life that you don't normally do. It reminds me of that one poem by Robert Frost, the one about taking the road less traveled. So I guess the moral is just to enjoy life and do things you don't normally do. One of the most important things I've learned from my art that applies to all parts of life is that most skills are learned. You're not magically born with the ability to do something. I've been drawing for over a decade, which is a lot of time, and over that course I've slowly improved and got better. But I've had people say, "Oh wow, you're so good at art, I could never draw a stick figure." And I'm like, Yes, you can, but the point is that from an outside perspective, it looks like you magically have talent, when in reality, it just takes a lot of time and effort and dedication to improve in something. Just know that if you see someone that you respect, or maybe there's a coworker that's been there longer than you, know that they've probably just have more experience than you, and it just takes time to get better. You're not magically going to do something perfect the first time, or the second time. It takes like hundreds of times to be able to get something right. Just knowing this really opens the playing field to what you can accomplish. Let's say you want to, I don't know, learn how to juggle. You're not going to be like, oh, I wasn't born with the ability to juggle. It's too bad. I would have liked to learn. I'll just watch people do it. No, you can actually watch videos or just learn how to do it. Just knowing this information will basically help you not limit yourself and stop you from trying new things. For me, it was art and just improving in my art. Now, I do like to try animation, or recently I'm trying 3D modeling. Am I good at it? Nope, not yet. But I know that with enough time and dedication and effort, I will get better at it. This is something I may just want to talk more about in another video, but the whole point is that things take time to learn, and that you're not magically born with the skills to do something. I know people have advantages. If you want to become an athlete, maybe someone who's taller or faster have the advantage, but that shouldn't stop you from trying it out in the first place. I guess the point of this is to just go out there and try it, because not everything you're magically going to be good at the first time, or the second time, or maybe even the third time. But if you keep at it and keep trying and learn different ways to find information to get better, then you will get better. So here is the final picture. Even though it took me about 4 hours to actually draw it, the time and effort and practice that I've accumulated over the past decade helped make it. So I hope you guys have learned something new from this little art chat. If you want to add to this discussion or want to put your 2 cents in, please let me know in the comments. And with that, I hope you guys have a good day. Bye!